in Slovakia, not only in Slovakia, but all over Europe, also in other countries like Hungary and Czech Republic, and previously also in Sweden and Switzerland, faced forced sterilization practices. And in Slovakia, it was a practice during the communism regime, and it went on also after the fall of the communism, when Roma women they faced forced sterilization. They were sterilized without providing consent, an informed consent with this intervention. They were sterilized during giving a birth to their babies, and some of them without also knowing that what happened to them. So this practice, we monitored in Slovakia the cases. The last case that we monitored was in 2002, so quite recent cases of this women's rights violation. We are calling the responsible authorities, which in Slovakian experience is the Slovak government, to take like systematic measures, not only to apologize to the victims, because but also to provide them with adequate remedies, and to create some independent commission to look at the practice and to introduce some measures to prevent such a thing happen in the future. Because in Slovakia we documented in our report 100 cases, but we believe it's the top of the iceberg. Those women, there are thousands of Roma women who were forcibly sterilized, and not each of them have access to the courts. They cannot sue the hospitals from various reasons. So that's why we represent strategic cases, and we believe that the progressive decisions of the court will push those who are responsible to acknowledge the practices as such, and to apologize not only to the individual women, but to also to all the women who were victims of such a practice.
First of all, I believe because it's a women's issue and women have to be empowered, encouraged to stand up and talk, and I think the changes will not happen in long term unless we get women on that level as well. And in Welsh Government, in Wales in particular, we have 50-50 women, as I've said, on the government, local government, so we can link up with the women ministers, women AMs, to be able to influence them, and they understand, and hence that we're in a better position to influence policies. So that's one level, and I think, but as a community, I think we need to have community cohesion, because it's that imbalance I find between the mainstream women and the BME communities as a whole. And unless we can come together and get everybody to understand that we are we are all women, or we are, we should be getting the same level of support from the system as a whole, and not to differentiate until then, because I know as an organization we have a lot of policies in place. So in institutions, racism might be at a lower level, I suppose, because everybody has to comply because it's their job on the line. But as passers-by, right in the community, in the field, there is a lot of racism still. I mean, I feel that myself, because being a visible minority, being a Muslim, with everything on the media and how they portray you. So I, as a professional, sometimes still feel intimidated. So there is still a lot of work to be done. But I think for yourselves, I think it is influencing government policies and having more women in power, I'd say. Otherwise, it's very difficult to get things done and move forward, because I believe, men, as long as they're there, they'll see their point of view, and it's never going to get resolved.
I think the position of minorities in Europe is increasingly under threat. You've got the labelling of the entire Muslim community as terrorists, and that's not to deny that there are some within that community who are. You've got issues of discrimination, particularly around Roma people. You've got the whole debate around immigration that's coming out of the economic crisis. Every time there are economic difficulties, the whole immigration debate mushrooms. And then you've also got the issues around multiculturalism and integration. So I think that there are some difficult times ahead. I think it's two-pronged. There's the racism from the majority community, the growth of the far right, but equally you've got communities that are the targets of racism, closing in on themselves and not integrating and shutting out for fear, as a result of fear of what may or may not happen. And until we start being open with each other and having discussions and debates, then things aren't going to change. The reason that there is, I mean, a lot of the racism, a lot of it stems from fear, and we need to start getting to know each other on an individual basis. But it's about politicians, those in government, those in positions of power, addressing issues of inequality. Women in all societies, whether it's minority communities or other communities, they are the ones that bear the brunt of the decisions that politicians make. Women's issues, we're more than half of the population. We need to, our needs, our concerns, our fears need to be addressed. We need to be part of the bigger debate and not simply dictated to. And women come in various guises, as people here have said today. It's about mothers, it's about single women, it's about older women, it's about disabled women, lesbian women, minority women. It's about women from all different sections of society. My only message would be, let's learn from each other. We're part of Europe. Let's work across those geographical boundaries because we have much more in common than we have as differences. Let's learn, let's share, let's move forward together.